Hello, hello, beautiful people.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of Chasing the Bag podcast with Bade Biyi. I hope everyone is fine, everyone is having fun, everyone is good. Bade, how are you?
I'm good, 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 good. I think, no, I didn't just get back, but maybe 2 weeks ago, I went on a Valentine's retreat.
Valentine's retreat after getting officially married. Congratulations, Bade.
Thanks, thanks.
How does it
So
feel? Give me just so that I can know.
it feels great. It feels amazing. It's just a different vibe in the sense that I think I said it before. The last time you
Right.
asked, you can now plan, you can live life for like the long term, like forever, because you're no longer your eye is no longer out there. Everything is set. You're just planning together, and also bringing the planning of two people is stronger than when it's just one person that is just chatting the course, and you bring your shared networks and networks, and it helps. It just helps, and also it helps to have someone that will always be in your corner, all throughout life, even in the ups and the downs, even though by God's grace there'll be more ups.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Something to look forward to for single people like me. But yeah, fingers
You take your
crossed.
time. Take your time. Yes, it's right. And yeah, you'll be telling the same story I'm telling.
Right. So I'd like to begin with feedback from our last episode. So on the last episode, we had Yusuf Yaya on the
Yeah.
show, and it was really good. When Yusuf is such an insightful man,
Mm-hmm.
talking to us about the investing in Africa, in East Africa, building Sahara Innovation Labs. Anyone who hasn't listened to that episode should go back and return to that episode. It is really insightful. It's one of my favorites so far, right, buddy?
Yes, 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 yes. It's been, and we got like, of course, lots of attraction and feedback from people on that, and it was really helpful to have our first guest be such a strong guest, and we can't go lower than that.
Yeah, yeah. I think I need to intensify my reaching out efforts and see if we can get more people to come on the podcast. Although we have one lined up for the next episode.
Yes, so one of my good friends from Yale, phenomenal guy, phenomenal entrepreneur, very sound mind. His name is Rohan, so he'll be coming on next episode, and he'll be taking us through his life and taking us through his entrepreneurial journey and how to just navigate life as a young person in this new age of AI and just figure out, what's best for oneself and just put yourself out there, equip yourself. Yeah, to be solid. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. I checked out some of his videos on Instagram and it's going to be a great one. So do like, subscribe, share the podcast with your friends. We are growing and
We are good.
we would like to take you guys along, take, many more people along. So, buddy, what are we starting with this episode?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot happening in the world, but one interesting thing that is dramatic. So it's like an episode of Succession, maybe Silicon Valley, and I don't know, maybe Real Housewives.
All in one.
Anthropic OpenAI back and forth. So over the course of several weeks now, there has been, some sort of rivalry between the two frontier foundational model labs that have come out of the US. And of course, they are the biggest in the world right now. And for context, the CEO of Anthropic actually was VP of research at OpenAI. So the entire Anthropic team were at OpenAI for a few years,
Right.
and he left and took some core members, some core researchers with him, and founded Anthropic on the explicit safety first philosophy. So they're like, we're going to be cautious about building these systems, knowing the potential negative impact they could have on society and the world. That showed that they were before at on the same terms, but Dario felt that they were not going the same path again. And what really everybody was, well, Dandy and Rosie, everyone knew their places. OpenAI was focused, you know, creating models for the general public. So they
Mm-hmm.
had like a lot of the everyday people and their 900 million users. While Anthropic's focus still, I think, very much this year was for developers. So they singled working and building the best models that will help software engineers do their work better. And that has
Yeah.
like really big success for them. Cloud Code has been everywhere. I've been using it myself. And however, what really then brought the rivalry to bear was during the Super Bowl. So OpenAI announced that they'll be running ads directly inside ChatGPT for free users. And, this is in a bid to, get more revenue in because as the case had been, they had like a lot of users and usage, free users, but they didn't have like revenue was not catching up to the usage. While Anthropic was doing very well on the revenue side, they're even still really doing well. So I
Mm-hmm.
think the board of OpenAI like we need to do something. And when the Facebook meta routes go to ads, and Anthropic, having their own thesis separate, saying they were. I don't know why they decided to put out something to this, but they responded with an ad, that kind of showed that betrayal, deception, treachery, something like that in the ad, and it was just too dramatic, which then made Sam Altman fire back, calling the ads at the Super Bowl dishonest and all of that. Everyone thought it was all fun and games, but then there was the summit, the AI Impact Summit in
Yeah.
India by the Indian PM, where all of them kind of lined up and like a couple of guys, Mario, Sam Altman, and some other AI CEOs on stage. Funny enough, Am and Dario were standing like side by side
Side by
and they
side, right?
also lift hands, but they didn't hold hands when, when hands were lifted, which was like, what's going on
It
here?
was super awkward.
Yeah,
Just
it
yeah to
was
see.
was very interesting. And both companies are doing great. I don't know. There's no need for that, in my opinion, but it's just what it is.
I mean, I use Claude mostly,
Mm-hmm.
and the way I look at it, it is um I'm not certain. I think they are both trying to capture like market share,
Yes.
while OpenAI had gone the retail users, the daily users like me and you kind of route.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
Topic and Claude focused on acquiring those
Yeah.
enterprise contracts. And I think about 80% of their revenue is from the enterprise guys, while probably I think about 80% of OpenAI's is from the retail users like you and I.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think enterprises is where it's at long term,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that's where Anthropic have focused their strategy on building cloud code, building the
All
project,
those-
using the co-work, using the just building tools for enterprise users, building those enterprise solutions, those AI first enterprise solutions. And yeah, I think they just saw a brilliant opportunity. I like the ads. I like the ads, even though they poked fun at. I mean, it is what it is. And
Mhm.
OpenAI has kind of been struggling a bit, I think, public
Yes.
perception wise, in the
Mm-hmm.
past couple of months. And it
Yeah.
has had me thinking about this kind of cycle that beloved CEOs go through. So right now
Yeah.
it is Sam Altman. I can see the narrative in the media and the discourse kind of turning against him a bit. Oh,
Yeah.
OpenAI is not doing this. Oh, they are using ads. Is moving towards that bad guy side of the
Exactly.
tech CEO.
Yeah.
And I think I watched a documentary on YouTube a couple days ago about his first company and how they
Mhm.
had like 500 users and he inflated that to like 50,000 users and ended up selling that.
Yeah.
And if you want to go down the rabbit hole of that, you can see some conspiracy theories about, oh, this company bought it, they financed them, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah, and they moved him to YC. You can just go down the rabbit hole and get into the conspiracy theory. But I think bottom line is that he has not been the sense that he's kind of painted himself to be, or that OpenAI had painted themselves to be. Also, there is that clear, we are going to be non-profits as OpenAI before, and it's clearly not. They've pushed out their
Yeah.
co-founder, Elon Musk, who financed their
Exactly.
entity, right?
Yeah.
So, like, it feels like Kama is now coming home in a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
So there's that cycle of like you are beloved, then you go into this gray zone, then
Mhm.
you are hated. And it is almost like some founders, like this tech CEOs, find it hard to grapple with, where it is either you are on the offensive or you become defensive. Like the long word salad post that Sam Altman did to
Yeah.
defend. It
It
was just
was
like,
not
yeah,
needed.
you didn't need all of that, my guy. It was just it's just too long. So
Yeah.
I think Sam is the latest victim of that.
of
And if
that.
you go a bit before that, there was a time that Elon was the sweetheart of everybody. Not too long
Yeah,
ago. This is like,
yes,
I don't know, the
yeah,
past 10 years. Elon
yeah.
was the sweetheart of everybody. Oh, Tesla is everything in the world, blah, blah, blah. And now you can see that he's purely on the villain side. And he's unapologetic about it and he's embraced it.
With
Um,
full
he's
chest.
on the villain side. If you go a couple years too before that, you see Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah,
He was the
went
baby boy of the tech industry that everybody loved and,
and he
beloved.
became bad guy.
Then
Yeah,
he became the bad guy over the past couple of years, although his image kind of changed, or they
mm-hmm.
tried to like change his image, his branding, his
Yeah.
appeal
Made
over
a
the
lot of
past couple of
money
years.
and laughs. Yeah.
Yeah, then but he has kind of veered off to the dark side a bit these days. So I
Mm-hmm.
think it is comfortable there. And if you even go further back, Bill Gates as
Yeah.
well.
No, Bill was he was beloved for a long time. Yeah, and he didn't stop being beloved until just very recently.
I mean, he was the OG beloved and also had like a weird kind of relationship with so they had like congressional hearings in the
Yeah.
80s where they were like a monopoly and nobody could like piss them off the market and he was not so beloved, but although you couldn't function without him because they were like that big of a monopoly,
Yeah.
right? He kind of eased his way out of the company, veered back into the beloved
Yeah. I
realm.
think philanthropy, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and
Yeah.
now
And now, we have news and things like that in the media that is like, yeah, this guy is not the sweet beloved guy that he
yeah,
is. So yeah, it is fun to see like this cycles kind of repeat themselves.
herbs and fruits. Because I think he was meant to be in India for one summit, and he pulled out because he didn't want like the current media attention to affect like the purpose of the main summit. But like
Mm,
you were saying, it's a cycle. I listened to this very good podcast on BBC called Good Bad Billionaires. So what they do essentially is
yeah.
they bring someone and they talk about their history and they kind of rate them. Are they good? Are they bad? Or are they just another billionaire?
They're just another
And
billionaire, right?
they had Sam Altman. There was an episode on Sam Altman, and they went through his strategy. I think they ended up with him being. Was it just another? Is either it was just another billionaire or was a bad billionaire? I can't remember exactly now. But the thing is, he has not been the best. There's not been the media darling, Sam Altman. Like he very recently, I saw. I think it was in one conference somewhere where it was like it was comparing the energy that it takes to train AI models. What did it take? And I was comparing the energy it takes to train a human being. So it was like all the food, all the water from when you are born to you are 80. And people were like, oh, is that not a bit dystopian? So you're
Yeah.
comparing a human being's growth to when they can become profitable or productive to the economy to an intelligent being, essentially, to a model zone. So at some point, would we then get to the point where when the model is cheaper, you'll be like, there's no need to train human
No need
beings.
for humans. I don't need to train humans. I mean, it's even what's this guy's name? Peter Thiel.
That's here.
Those guys are, I mean, for
They're
lack of a
very
better word,
interesting.
they're like weird with their dystopian technology over human type of thinking.
Yeah. They're very interesting. I think there's one question that even comes from their saga. Because now Anthropic, they are putting themselves out as the safer option.
Mm-hmm.
Well, are they actually safer? Like in your own experience, what do you think? Because I know from OpenAI, a lot of safe option startups have come out. So there's super safe intelligence that came, the Ilias startup. It was former CTO. I think it was a head researcher. Then there's what's her name now? The former CTO. I'm trying to remember her name. She also started her own thinking machines just
Yeah.
out of OpenAI. But let's look just closely on Anthropic and OpenAI. Is there any consensus, like anywhere that any one of them is actually safer for people to put their information on? Like, what do you think?
Personally, I don't think regarding data safety, I don't think you're putting so much into this
Mhm.
AI chatbots, models, whatever. You're just putting so much of your personal details into it that maybe I'm just like incredulous in a way, and I don't believe that they don't do some sort of training on whatever you put in your input. Even the fact that it adapts to the kind of questions that you ask it.
Yeah.
or the fact that there was this trend a couple weeks ago where people were prompting ChatGPT to make an image of them. What is
Yeah.
my job based
What
on
is my job
the
based on what you
history of?
know about me? I
Yeah.
don't
So
I don't like those things.
yeah. Not a fan either. But yeah, I mean, anyway, ChatGPT couldn't get mine. I didn't try it, but it wouldn't because I've only used like in my entire life, maybe like 5 ChatGPT prompts in my entire life. But yeah, so I think we have offered up a lot of our personal data. Maybe not personal in the sense of like name, address, or whatever, but like, the kind of projects you are working on, what you are thinking about. The number one use case for AI tools is apparently therapy. People talk to
Yeah, I've been
ChatGPT and Claude and Gemini about their feelings and what they
yeah.
should do, and it is directing people's life decisions. So when you talk about when you ask like, is it safe? There's the part that you are one willingly offering up this information.
Mm-hmm.
But when I think about safety, primarily from these AI companies, I think about like the planet in the long run. There's just this hunger where every company is like, oh, we need more chips, we need more
Yeah.
power, more data centers. This is
Mm-hmm.
like more emissions, more mining. This is, what is happening to the planet in the long run, in the short term. There are communities where data centers are springing up that people, residents of those communities, are making complaints every day.
Yeah, they're not gonna
You feel in America with XAI, for example.
yeah.
Yeah. So when I think about safety, I think about like the physical safety, the like natural world. Yeah. I think on a personal level, everyone should, just like you wouldn't put your
Data.
BVN. You put your BVN on Twitter, right? Although some might, but like just like you wouldn't do that, you wouldn't put your NIN on Twitter, your social security number on Twitter
Yeah.
or yeah, you should treat this AI apps just like that. You shouldn't
Yeah. Absolutely.
do
They
anything.
see and they know every single thing. That's one thing. Like I think people it's obvious but also not obvious that they
Mm-hmm.
see everything. Even because they all of them have, or I think, and I have set them up that way. Don't use so there's memory. I put off memory in all my models. I use Gemini, OpenAI, Claude. I put off memory. Even at that, even at putting off memory, they still retain. And I use for some things that are very sensitive. I use incognito chat. I don't like those ones that go in like 6 hours. Even at that, I know every single thing I put in there, they have it
Mm-hmm.
because there have been several cases. So the most recent case was something that happened, a very sad story that happened here, that happened on this side of the world in North America. In I think it was in British Columbia, of one, I think a girl that went to a high school and just shot it up and killed some kids there. Really, really sad. It was so sad that even the Canadian Prime Minister and the opposing uh party leader like had to
Right.
come to and they went there and they were crying. It was really sad. But apparently it just came out. I think it was New York Times or the Wall Street Journal. I don't know which one of them. That staff at OpenAI had seen the person's conversations on wanting to do that. And they thought to themselves, should they flag this and tell the Canadian authorities or not? And they thought it wasn't important enough to tell the authorities. So it just shows very much that they see every single thing. And
Right.
what you want like outside, don't just put it there. That's like the candid advice. And now I see a lot of people, I'm just like, I'm scared. There's some of the things I can't do. Even though it helps the efficiency. People are using Cloud Co-work. And what Cloud Co-work, you can connect to your system, your laptop, your device, and to
Okay.
arrange the entire laptop for you, which means it has access to every pretty much like that's what
Yeah. All your files then.
I can't do that. So I downloaded desktop app, but I just say, I can't do this. Let me just continue my life. I'm not going to continue. My desktop and let it be scattered. I don't want you to rearrange my life for me. It's so wild that aside from even Claude, the new thing that came up is this Claude bots, Moldsbook and Claude bots. I don't know if you've seen like where people, run agents
Yeah.
autonomously background on their local devices to do stuff for them. They give them access to their emails. Like some people actually give these agents access to their primary emails and have them arrange it to respond to emails, organize them, because of course it will make your
Yeah.
life easy. But I don't
Book
think,
flights, respond to emails and whatnot.
yeah. And I see like very senior tech people, entrepreneurs, like do these things. But the advice is, of course, you don't use your primary email. You set up an email for the agent to run these things. And some people are buying external devices that connect to their system to kind of so that it will have access to their own device itself. But I'm not at the point where I can trust any AI
Mm-hmm.
agent to run anything for me. That's just where I am at. I use the models with the best security or privacy precaution I can take. But I see a lot of people right now saying they granted access to everything. I'm just like, wow, you guys are very brave.
It is remarkable how powerful that they have gotten.
And they can do a lot of things. Like to show how good Claude was, it went really viral. It was acquired by OpenAI. The reports or the rumors and it was acquired for 30 million. And I'm
30
just like,
million.
yeah, and the guy, the founder of this thing, just did it in like a weekend. He developed the entire thing and it went viral. And just for context, it's so that our users can know. It's the name of the developer is Peter Steinberger, and he's this Austrian guy who has been very successful. So he sold some of his former company, and he was just doing he has done all for himself. But he was just bored. Like he's seen the AI frenzy. I was like, what is he going to do? Similar to how Sergey Brin just say, you know what, I cannot be part of this AI revolution, and went back
Yeah.
to, and he has an office now and he resumes every day. It was just like, okay, what's happening? Like, if the AIs are going to do everything, what do I then do? And he found that there were no tools that actually made the AI do things autonomously. And he just decided to develop CloudBots, which kind of spins off agents to automatically do tasks for you. So you can clear your inbox, you take over your WhatsApp, respond to messages for you, book flights, check in for a flight, anything, smart control
Mm-hmm.
your home. Like if you have smart systems in your homes, can do all of those things, those agents. And before you know it, it went viral. Like, everyone was using it, like got like hundreds of thousands of star reviews on GitHub. And what had happened was that everyone was watching it, was like, what's going to happen
Right. Mm-hmm.
with this? And before you knew it, OpenAI just announced, I think it was 2 Sundays ago, that they've acquired. It was not like an acquisition. They brought him in into
In
OpenAI with also was an acquire hire of some sort.
Aquahire.
So the problem that people were always saying is that Anthropic fumbles the bag, so to speak, even though I don't believe that. Because
No.
they sent the founder like a cease and desist order because he was using the name of the platform was CloudBots, and it's very similar to Claude. They were like, you don't want to pass off and stuff like that. And you renamed it to Bots. And
Yeah.
it was everywhere on Twitter. You had agents, people's agents talking. So the agents had like their own community, like their own social media, and they were talking about the humans that,
They are humans.
like, it's just like one scene in Black, what's
Black
of that
Mirror.
Black Mirror. It's like what's happening, but yeah, it's
I
wild.
mean, I mean, it is cool. We don't know if it is a great acquisition for OpenAI in the long run, but I wonder how much of it is just the frenzy and people's reaction to it. If there's actually value in it in the long run, I hear that it's going to lead their agent something departments
Yes.
and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, cool one for them. I mean, they are still spending so much money, and
Mm-hmm.
the whole gist is that they are running out of cash.
Yeah, I think they want to even
And
raise like 100 billion or so.
yeah, they're always wanting to raise something. You know,
And
they
like
had this commitment from
billion.
what's the Nvidia guy? Jensen Huang.
For
Yeah, about investing so. And the guy has basically walked that back a bit. Like, oh, they never
Yeah,
committed to investing it all at once, or they just what was agreed was that they were invited to invest up to 100 billion or something, and they will still evaluate whatever
we're going to
that looks
do it.
like in the future.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is interesting days in the AI arms race. Gemini is just chilling because Google has all
Yeah.
of this money to spend, which
Gemini,
is which
Gemini
is
first.
Gemini is super good at multimodal. I used it to convert like a list that my friend had written on like a post-it note,
Mm-hmm.
and I converted it into. So I use a lot of Google apps. So in Gemini, I just like okay, I took a picture of the list. I'm like okay, turn this into a shopping list in my Google Keep. app, and it just, in 2 seconds,
Yeah.
like done. Okay. And I exited, went to my Google Keep,
Was
and it
there.
was there. I think that is that is one of the advantages that Google has, having so many products where you can say, oh, write an email or send an email from probably from Gemini, or create this, export it directly into Google Sheets or Google
It's
Docs or
yeah,
whatever apps that you're looking at. But
absolutely.
all this Claude thing has me thinking about the article that you actually shared with me, or that you mentioned, the one by Deutsche Bank, where they asked
Yeah.
the AI
Mm,
about what it sees the future,
mhm.
like looking at the jobs that are not safe per se in the
Yeah,
future.
yeah.
Particularly, one thing that, in the whole sense of chasing the bag, is that a lot of financial advice will are now being taken through, ChatGPT or Claude. And yeah, so retail investors are able to make smarter decisions, maybe, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's like in the long run. But also for even like more savvier investors, people are making decisions for their pensions, people are making decisions for insurance. So rather than
Yes,
going straight into these, brokers, these advisors, these tax
exactly,
advisors who are sitting
exactly.
down with these AI chats, whatever, AI agents, and basically asking questions on how to do these things on their own. And they are saving money and also making money off of that. So that is
Yeah.
another interesting use case.
We need to talk after the poll is over because there's been an interesting spin-off of surplus. And it's in
Always,
line with all you just said right now.
right?
Yeah, but you are spot on because I was seeing somewhere that the biggest sectors, the sectors where information and knowledge work has gotten the highest rent. So they've gotten like the highest reward to input ratio is finance and legal. So financial
Okay.
services, financial advisors, brokers, all those middlemen. There are so many middlemen in the finance world
Right?
that might not necessarily be important in the future in the world of AI. And what's going to happen is a lot of companies are going to come up in that space to close that gap, give more money to the end user, and make it more efficient for them to get access to these services. Unlike the opaque systems and workflows and lingua that
Yep.
these guys have used to run those industries for hundreds of years. And it's going to really change everything in those sectors. Yeah, we'll talk about it
I,
back.
I I think that's where, I mean, to use my MBA brain here, non-market strategy comes in, where
Yes,
you then see a lot of this kind of existing incumbent companies. They could come together and get regulation against the use of AI in their industry. So
absolutely.
I could
They will
see
fight.
a
They will
scenario.
fight.
Of course, nobody goes down without fighting, right? So you could see a
But
scenario where a lot of these industries get classified as sensitive,
mhm,
and they try to protect them against AI, at least in the short term.
yes,
Maybe
but
not, maybe not in the next 20 years, but like as long as they can fight it for, to keep that advantage that they have over the
yes,
retail, the day-to-day guys like you and I.
exactly. They are going to use the SEC a lot. They are going to use the Securities and Exchange, like whatever body that manages securities in different countries. They're
Yeah.
going to there will be a lot of using them for those their protectionist policies to just keep their moats. But it's going to be interesting. It's not going to last as long as they think it will. But the smart people are already the smart companies and people that win. They would either develop their own in-house or they just acquire and new entrants that are doing it well. I think that's the people that survive are the people that go that route.
Yeah, I mean, they have to, yeah, they have to adapt somehow, right? It is one of those strategies, like adapting to what the market is saying, adapting to what the external factors are pushing you to do, and seeing how you can benefit of that. So it's either they fight it. I mean, and you can see, like, I can see a future or a scenario where a lot of these companies are going to fight the entrance of AI into maybe medical services, for example, right?
Mm.
I can imagine that a lot of people are taking medical advice from
From
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
Even I am, well, I'm not taking medical advice, but one thing that I've done is, like, moving from Nigeria to the UK, I came with some medication, and,
Yeah.
for the life of me, I've forgotten what the
What?
doctor said A is
Mhm.
for and B is for.
Yeah.
And I just type it into Google. Google has the AI overview now. So I type it
Yeah.
into it. look at a few results and you say, okay, this one is for cold. Okay. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's what I'm going
Yeah.
to use that for
Like
rather than taking a trip to the pharmacy to get something new.
yeah. It's so wild that I did this just yesterday. So I think I saw it, I think somewhere on X or Twitter, like I would like to call it, that even doctors are going to ChatGPT. So pretty much. But me, the personal one I did was my mom like went and got like some tests and like the interpretations were not there. So I just, you know what, took all the
Yeah.
picture, yes,
Tell me what's happening.
explain it to me, break it down, give me what it is that we need to do. Then when I said it to her, she was very sure. She was like, "Do you have?" She said Yoruba, like, "Do you have a doctor there that you quickly said this down?" Because the way Claude brought it down was well structured and everything. I was
Yeah.
like,
I
"Yeah, I
mean,
could."
gone are those days. Well, of course, we still need to be very cautious about the outputs from these models, right? Even they advise or like they put it as one of their disclaimers that, it is possible that they get some things wrong. But you can see a scenario where, people start to, forget about the specialists. The days where you would like your mom did or your mom did, you get these tests, right? And rather than specialists is not around, you have to come back on Thursday.
Explain what.
And this is a huge medical, or if it's like a medical emergency, right? You're like,
Mhm,
okay, I can't wait 4 or 5 days for Mr. Specialist or Dr. Specialist to come around. So I'm just going to upload it to Claude and see what it says. Then I'm going to fact check that with what Gemini says, check that
mhm.
against
Exactly.
ChatGPT. Okay, they have agreement
Consist-
or on 1, 2, 3. And it's like,
mhm,
okay, yeah, I'm going to make this decision on my own and I don't need Mr. Specialist to come around. Or you can
Absolutely.
see the case of, like companies that'll be like AI first in the telemedicine space,
Yeah.
where they just use AI to advise customers on what to do. Maybe not, cases that are not emergency cases.
Mhm.
So, okay, you have a headache, you go and take these tests. What does the result say? And yeah,
It will even help like users. You will be able to, even if you in this part of the world you have primary physicians, and if they're not doing like a proper job, you have like good questions that you can ask. Like
you
if
ask
you,
them, right?
yeah, so that you know that you know what you are talking about. You are not just you're not just boboing me and stuff, and you get like better feedback from even your primary physician if you use AI to aid. Like Naval will say, AI, everyone, if AI was, let's say, so if software engineering was you being a wizard, AI gives everyone a wand. So not that they know how to use it.
Yeah.
So the wand in the hand of the software engineer will work better, but the wand in the hands of like a lay person will also work if they learn how to use it. So that's just what is
Yeah.
going to be.
I think I'm thinking about the ultimate power of AI and the way I see it, like, or the way I'm looking at it right now, is that a lot of this tech companies, right? Like, look at the YouTube, for example, and how they have, is it democratized? How do they say it?
Democratizing,
Democratized. Sorry, what did you say?
democratizing.
Democratized. Thank you. They have democratized content creation. Like, there are channels, of course, on YouTube that are doing better than the normal TV channels, and
Yeah.
how they have democratized, media companies or like producing
Mhm,
movies.
mhm.
And you see that in a lot of this. So think about how like Substack, for example, has democratized, brought down like publishing articles to the
Yeah.
everyday guy.
Yep.
And how, there are a few companies that are like that, major companies. And what AI has done is like it has kind of democratized everything.
Yes.
It has brought everything, almost everything to everybody's hands. Like, okay, Robinhood or Bamboo, they've democratized investing, right? So you don't
Rest.
have to go and look for a stockbroker. They've brought it to
Mhm.
everybody's hands, right? So now, why AI is so powerful, why people think AI is so powerful is that it has kind of democratized everything where, okay, this is a blank canvas for you to paint on. So
Mhm.
what are you going to do with it? It is not Excel coming to change data processing, right? It is, do you want to build Excel? Or do you want to build the next
Exactly.
Excel? Now it is for you to think about how you're going to use it, or you don't have to depend on so much. It's like, okay, this is a blank canvas, paint whatever you like. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's an interesting way to see it.
It's a brave new world. Very interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a good segue. I don't know if you saw very recently. Of course, I think we spoke about it. No, was in the last pod where the Canadian Prime Minister kind of, at the World Economic Forum was like, the world order has changed, and he was talking about the middle powers and what the middle powers should do. I also recently saw an
Middle
article
powers. I've never heard of that term before. So those are like the
like G
G3 to
G7.
G sim.
Yeah.
The
So like
middle powers.
they said the middle powers, like they have to, take their future into their hands and stuff like that. And I even saw uh the former Access Bank founder Agi Imokwede was like, when he listened to that from like an Africa perspective, it's like,
Right?
the Canadian Prime Minister can be calling himself a middle power and he's afraid. What will all of us now what will we do? He said the Canadian GDP is about 2.2 trillion. All of Africa's GDP is about 2.7 trillion. That's about far.
I mean, stats like that, they stink. Like when I hear it, it's like it hurts me.
Yeah. Like if they are worried, what should we do? And he just then brought to fall Redalio's. I don't know if our users have watched or even read his book. Redalio is one of the OGs of hedge funds. He founded Bridgewater, and it was like he had like this changing world order book, and even animated video on YouTube that I've watched, and it was showing how world powers grow, how they emerge, how their powers wane, and how a new power comes into play. And I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, he tweeted like the world order has changed. It's now a new world order. The former world order that's where all the G7s and the Western allies had like rule-based systems for managing how they do things has been
Yeah.
broken. And now might is right. Everyone is now trying to recalibrate and find how do we go forward in this new dynamic with the good president of the US, Donald Trump, raising tariffs up and down at different nations. If they don't do
Yeah.
anything, it brings up a tariff. And I'm just like, it's an interesting place to be, given that we're having two transformational things or issues happening at the same
Happening
time.
at the same time.
There's AI and there's geopolitical, issues that happen. And I'm just like, what will the future look like going forward? Is it going to be an easy pass? A lot of people are saying like the Western countries are just making it easier for China and Russia to take over. I'm like, G is not even doing anything. You're just handing it over to him. Now that Canada is going to China, Britain is going to China. I don't know if the PM of UK PM has gone to China, but he said he was going to go.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
of
it
them.
was in China about 2 weeks ago. Kerstama.
Yeah, I'm just like, what is going to happen? What do you think? Number one, let's just come from even Africa's perspective.
I mean, Africa, I think one thing that living outside of Nigeria has opened my eyes to, I mean, I've always known this,
Mhm.
is that in the grand scheme of things, we Nigerians, we have this delusion of grandeur. We think that we are, and I hate to say it because we think that we are more than what we are. Like we
Yeah,
are giants of Africa. We are this and we are that, and we like to occupy space. You're like, you never hear of Niger. Like, what do you mean you don't know Burna Boy? You know that kind of thing. That kind of thing. But like when you're in like a global program like one that I'm in, you find out
yeah.
that like nobody sent you, man.
Play.
And if there's one thing that also this Trump and the neo-nationalism, like everybody
Yeah.
is looking inwards to their own country and saying, oh, what do I have to do for myself? Oh, I have to build up my own military. Now I cannot rely on
Mhm.
the US. Now I cannot rely on ABC. The leader of the world government is erratic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I think it's a great time for, Africa, African countries, Nigeria, everybody to like look inwards and try to, I mean, it's not too late to develop those capacities that we lack, those infrastructure that we are lacking. And
Mm.
really looking was like more these grants, for example, US aid and how that has stopped and how it has
For
the
aid.
ripple effects it has had on in
Yeah.
lots of
Hospitals.
organizations like
Yeah.
a lot
People.
of this UN, World Bank, or some of these world organizations are really not employing or doing what they used to do, like the kind of impact that they used to have in local communities anymore,
Mhm.
since the aid has, kind of like dried up.
Yeah.
So it is time for these countries that are impacted to like looking was like, Omo, we cannot, we can't keep like begging at the feet of these people. I mean, we've done it for so long,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's not like we are respected or regarded on a high level at the end
Mhm.
of the day. Somebody made reference to the G20 summit. I think that's the large one where I think the South Africa president attends
Yeah.
that one. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
when
think
it's time for the photo op, like, okay, it's like, okay, they put the guy in the back or something, something like that. Or if they invite any African leader, it's like, yeah, you are not really. And
wow.
the fact of the matter is that this isn't them being discriminatory or something. It's like, yeah, like global economy wise, like what is your contribution? You are a taker, you're not a
Yeah.
contributor at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And if you are contributing, what percentage? It's like you just mentioned, Canada 2 trillion, the whole of Africa 2.7 trillion. You're like, yeah, these people, yeah. It is weird, it is hard, given the potential that we have. So
Mhm.
yeah, my whole rant is that we need to look inwards and develop those capacities and do what is right for
Absolutely.
ourselves and our people.
So, and I think we should even bring it to like for like the individual person, because now the individual person that is watching our podcast or listening, you just like, okay, am I done for? If the Nigerian government or the African governments don't decide to do better, what is going to happen to me? Because what happens definitely when great powers fight, emerging markets get squeezed. Like you have higher debt servicing, it makes it harder. Capital
Uh-huh.
flight happens, and it's just very difficult for these countries and the people that live in them. And I think one of Dalio's advice was like, it says, sell debt, buy gold. Like, and well, for me, I'm thinking for like the average person is going towards just improving yourself as an individual,
Mm.
ensuring that you have skills that are at par or even better globally. You're
Yeah.
not going to look at yourself from a Nigerian or an African context. You are going to put yourself at par with your peers in the advanced world.
Mm.
That is the only way. That is the only way you can, try to make yourself valuable or even be resilient in whatever is happening, because there are two major issues happening. Technology wave is changing, geopolitics is changing, and they're happening at this very same time. That's my when people ask me, like, that's my best advice. It's investing in yourself. Like it goes down to that. Invest in yourself, invest in your skills, invest in your knowledge, invest in your abilities.
Yeah.
It can't get better than. And maybe if we're talking about financial investment, then going for investments that, you know, don't get affected when these things happen. Maybe gold, maybe
Maybe
real
God.
estate in your nation, if I don't know, maybe other precious metals, maybe like there are different things that can be considered, but it's
I
very
mean,
sad.
what is good is that these things can be invested in fractionally, so you don't have to. Because I was going to say, Emil, lower good, though. Like, I don't have money for gold.
Uh,
I don't
you can
have money
find
for gold. But yeah,
gold.
you can buy bits and bits of it.
Yeah, you
Yeah, but
can.
the top points that you made about, getting your skill to a global level, I think in the notes that we shared for this episode, right? I think you
Mhm.
mentioned about somebody getting hired from their position on GitHub. Is that
Yeah.
is that it? Can you like speak on that a bit more?
So I think for developers, based on if the way they attract is when you have like lots of activity in your GitHub. And based off of that, you get stars, you get rankings, and it's a global community.
Yeah.
And you can indeed see when someone is great. So, and people do get hired for that to be in other projects. I think that's just one way if you're a software engineer, but because even the work of software engineers is being disrupted. So it's not really the part I would recommend. The part I would recommend is your current domain expertise that you decided to spend your life owning.
Yeah.
You must find the best way for it to be relevant in the AI world. So if you are a lawyer, for instance, you need to understand what AI is going to do for lawyers. It's me to mean that number one, very entry level jobs be gone. There will be firms that will just be a few partners and a few senior associates working, and agents doing all the research after initial work that first year, second year associates used to do. So it will mean then finding, because what happens is everybody is not it's not a, to me personally, it's not a bad state totally.
Yeah.
There's going to be, there will be new opportunities that will open up. And if you are at the frontier of the technology and of your domain, you will find those opportunities and you'll be able to take advantage of it. So it's, yeah, that's it for
Yeah.
me.
Also, before we go, I'd like to get your thoughts on one thing on localizing AI, right? So I have a friend here that is thinking about starting a company that will, to leverage AI into doing some things, using like local regulations and whatnot. Because the way this, I imagine that OpenAI, whatever model, ChatGPT, Claude, they are training it with like tons of data, of course,
Yeah,
and it scrapes the internet. They have like data on Nigeria, but like
yeah,
what they know about Nigeria may not be as robust as
absolutely.
what they know about
About
the
the
US
US,
or
yes,
Canada
I
or the
agree.
UK, right? So is there an opportunity there, chasing the bag mode, where someone could say, I'm going to leverage one of these models, but I'm going to train it using proprietary data, not even proprietary data. I'm going to gather this, because going to that point that you made about first year and second year associates and basically having their day-to-day tasks disappearing. So research, so say Nigeria releases some sort of regulation for the telcos,
Yeah,
right? And I don't imagine, of course, ChatGPT might, be able to point you to the news. Okay,
yeah,
they've reversed this. This is blah blah blah. But like the local context is still missing, right? And
yes.
what that has to, the impact
So,
that would have on the companies or how it should be implemented. So just on that alone,
mhm.
like I think that there's an opportunity for companies to emerge. So you are not going to be a unicorn. So first of all, you should take
Yes,
your, you should first go and sit down first.
exactly.
Go and sit down. So you're not going to be a unicorn. You're not going to be $1 trillion. But there is like opportunity for you to even build like a small business, maybe a team of 20 people in like the next 3 to 5 years, and people are doing great work by leveraging on these models, adding that local context to it for maybe law or other fields. Like, what
Domain.
are you thinking about that?
I agree. It says that yes, there's definitely an opportunity there, and we don't need to once be a unicorn, like Vusi said. In Africa, we shouldn't be optimizing for unicorns. Let's get zebras
Yeah.
that can do well and print cash for our own context, and put our success metrics to our context. The problem with, so you are right in the sense that one, a lot of the information, the data that they would need to train is not available online. So the scraping or downloading the entire internet wouldn't work. The problem is a lot of those data sources are analog. So there will have to be a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
I think there's one guy who I think was with Zikoko before. And what he was trying to do was trying to digitize all Nigerian newspapers. Like those, like,
Yeah. Archiving, right?
yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
Akabology, I don't know their name. But there are lots of history
Yeah.
that are in newspapers, but they are not online. So that's going to be the hard part of that work. You have to go to
Mm.
those parastatals and go
Yeah, you
to
need to do the legwork, right? Like,
their
are you
records.
ready to actually spend the man
Exactly,
hours, like literal man hours, to
exactly.
be physically on ground, go to those
Scanning,
offices,
scan the
scan it?
physical documents you. So that's going to be, because that will be your edge.
Mm-hmm.
That will be your edge pretty much, and you can build like very viable businesses out of it. That will really help to African context. I think that's the only aspect of it that will be challenging. But I agree that there's an opportunity there. I agree. Are you thinking about something in that space?
Awesome. I have a friend that's thinking about something in that space. She needs to
Okay,
get going.
okay, okay. Let's talk.
She needs to
Let's
get
talk.
going with it. I mean, this has been awesome. We thought that this episode would be shorter, but it's kind of
Yeah.
like, once we get talking like this,
Okay. You just,
it's become kind of like an AI update kind of episode almost.
yeah. Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
guys. Next episode, we'll have our guests, and yeah, we're looking forward to that. And yeah, stay safe.
Awesome. Thanks for listening, guys.